Hi, everybody. Just gonna sit here for a few minutes and wait for people to pop on. Hi, Cassie. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Samara. Lindsay. Thanks for joining. Those are all my friends. I appreciate you guys coming in here to support me. It's going to be different from what you're used to seeing over at Paper Issues, but hi, Ian. Dinner. We wolfed down hamburgers. Oh, hair. Yes, speaking of which, my announcement today at Queen had me with dark hair. That was probably like a long time ago when I had dark hair and was skinnier, and now I have gray hair. You know, I just want to be like that. So Delana, this is your first time. Well, stick with us. Maybe you'll get inspired. Maybe you'll learn something. I'm not sure. So hopefully you will get something out of this and maybe you'll be inspired to start creating. So this is the layout that we're going to recreate today. It's my boy eating an apple. We are going to make some changes to it. Yes, I just got this ring for my birthday. Hey, Wendy. So this, you may have seen it before, but the fruit basket kit is coming back in stock. So we want to make sure that you're inspired. You have some inspiration. You have some ideas. There's so many. If you go to the website, queenandcompany.com, and check out fruit basket in the search section, you can just search that up and you can see cards made with the fruit basket. And I am going to recreate this one tonight. But there are some changes. There's some things that are no longer in stock. And I may have used up all of my little seeds. See those little seeds in the center of my apple? I don't have those anymore. So I'm going to show you what we can use for that. Also, we're going to create this little twiny thing. We're not going to use this same apple title. We're going to change that a little bit. And I'm going to show you how I put it all together. So there's quite a few of you here. And hoping that I don't make you too dizzy, I am going to switch my camera around and mount you to the mount that's above my head. Hope I don't drop you. If I do, actually, have everybody just close your eyes for a second. And let's see if I can make this happen without you getting too seasick, car sick. My husband says that's no such thing. So, let's see. I gotta look at myself on the computer screen to see if I look okay. Look okay looking down at my paper, and I think we're okay here. So I know some of you are going to have some questions. A lot of you are my friends, and I've begged you to come here tonight for support. So thank you. I do appreciate you more than you ever can imagine. But I'm hoping to keep this within 30 minutes. I'm going to give you a few of my little tips that I use to create, and then I have pre-assembled some things because you don't need to sit here and watch me fumble over creating some things multiple times. So let's go ahead and get started. I already took my 12 by 12 paper, it is solid white, and I added 1.5 inches of paper from the fruit basket paper pad. This comes with the fruit basket kit. So you can see there's tons of colors, different fruits. You could do a layout with oranges or pears or limes, watermelon. That would be fantastic because actually that's probably what I should have done over apples because my son can eat a watermelon a day if we cut it up. And he's 15 now, so he's doing all the fruit cutting. I don't have to. You know how sometimes you just don't want to grab something because you have to prep it, and he'll do it all now, so it's great. So anyway, this comes in the fruit basket kit. This is how I store my kits. I break them apart when I get them. So I put the paper packets in with all my paper pads because I pull from all of them. Then I keep in this clear envelope, I keep all of the fruit basket die cut or dies, metal dies, and the stamp set that goes with it. And then in my binder, and I have all of them except for the new royal blue, and my next order is going to have that one in it. And you can see that I only keep my foams in here. I know a lot of people keep bling and buttons and all that stuff in here, but I like to keep my foams in here, and this is Fruit Basket, and they're all tucked right in here. So that's what I do, and I just wanted to show you that. So to get started, I've already pulled out the dies that I'm going to use, and I just dropped toppings everywhere. My cat is going to have a heyday. So, okay, again, we're going back to this layout, and I am not going to reinvent the wheel for this. I'm pretty much doing exactly what we already see here. So I have back this main focus photo, or main focal point photo on foam tape, and I know that I'm going to want my photos layered a little bit like this, but I don't want to put them down yet because I want to stamp, and I've set myself up for hopefully in a progression that will be easy and simple to follow. So I chose out the stamp that says, I couldn't have picked a sweeter, and this says friend, and I don't want friend. So I am going to, well, I had a sticky note here, and of course I put it away. Hold on, oh, here it is. I'm gonna ink up my stamp as you would normally, but I want to mask off friend because I don't want that, and I don't want it to ruin my whole photo because so I'm gonna just put my sticky note on friend, and some people mask it. I'm going to wipe it down and take all that ink off, and this probably isn't the best way to do this. You may have a better solution if you're more of a stamper than I am. I'm gonna huff on it to get it rejuvenated, and if this is where I want my photos, I'm going to put my stamp right underneath that photo, and then voila. And I do have a mistake here, but we're gonna fix that. We can just put a bling piece on that. We can do anything. It's our layout. If you make a mistake, you can start all over, or you can just cover it with one of the many blings that Queen & Company has to offer. So that's what we'll do. So let's go ahead and get the photo stuck down because I'm not really fussing around here. I know exactly where I want things placed. I'll peel off my foam tape. So let's see, and I want this one, oh, see, I want this one a little further over here. So I didn't push too hard. I should be able to pick it up if I haven't pushed too hard without destroying the paper. And then I'll just stick that back down, and now I'll push that one down. Okay, I'm going to cover that up at the end. I'm going to try to let it dry a little bit. And now my next step, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the apples. I think those will be where I can maybe show you a little something that I've done. I've created one already. You can see, can you see here that they are kind of 3D. I folded them and made them where they're going to pop off the page a little bit. They don't sit flat. You can see they kind of come up a little. And I'm going to show you what I did here. I'm going to just set this aside a little. And I did put my leaves together. What I need for my apple are the stem, the leaves, and the apple frame. And I also just grabbed some green cardstock to punch out my leaves and some brown for the stem. What I did was I cut out the red apple because I want the red frame and the red center, right? Well, I want to be able to, I don't want to just stick this down. I want these to be able to pick them up, move them around, see where I wanted them. So what I do, just something I do, I don't know if this is the best way for you or if this even works for most people, but I took this red negative, and if this were red paper, this is the apple cutout. I put it down on a piece of white. I pencil traced it on the inside. It's not going to matter because there's that red border, you know, the red frame part, and it covers up my pencil mark anyway. So then I, with my scissors, will fussy cut this apple out, and then I can add my frame to the top of this, and so then I'll get this white apple piece right here, right? And then I can use thin glue or a glue that will dry, be transparent when it dries and you won't see it. And I do like a really thin glue because I have a tendency to be pretty messy with my fingers. I'll get it on my fingers, then I'll get it on my paper, and I'll smudge it on the plastic, because we are going to be using a plastic acetate in a minute for the half apples that we're going to make. So I've started to build my apple. I want to add my frame or my leaves in behind. I wanted this apple to have a little bit different of an angle than my this apple. I want them to be, no two apples are the same, right? So whoops, so I'm going to pull that up a little, make the leaves a little taller. Okay, so my next step would be, this is my top one, my next step is to bend my apple at the crease. You can see the crease here and here, so it's kind of at an angle. So I just bent my apple like this. I cut it out of another piece of pattern paper from the Fruit Basket 6x6 pad. I'm going to put adhesive down the center, and then I'm going to add small pieces of foam tape to the center or the outside edges of each apple. So when it sticks in the center, you'll see here it'll stick in the center and it goes flat, and then out here on the edges the foam tape keeps it from going flat and it raises it up, it gives it a little dimension, and so there I have part of my apple popped up. So I'm going to do that same exact concept again. I'm going to bend at each crease of the apple, of the die cut apple. Okay, I'm going to flip it over, put some adhesive down the center, cut 2 more pieces of foam tape, and then put it out on the edges again. So it's kind of repetitive. You can do several layers if you want to build this guy up. Maybe on the original I did 2 or 3 layers. I'm not sure because I don't have it anymore. I think I mailed it to Miss Wendy, so I'm going to just go with the 2 layers. You see how that is layered up? It's pretty cool. So when you lay it down on your layout, you've got a little bit of dimension. Not a whole lot, but a little. So I'm going to put these die pieces back. We're going to use them for the half apples too, but you've already seen what I've used, so they're good. So I'm going to put some adhesive on the apple. I'm going to add my apples where I feel like they should go. And do you see this here? The paper's outside of the white. Doesn't matter. You can't tell either way, either side. So I'm going to drop this one down a little bit. Okay, so now we've created 2 apples. I am going to just use some random alphabets that I have. This was a die cut, and then I backed it on my silhouette, my cameo, and I wanted to show you how it can be just for the home crafter too. You can just use any alphas that you have available. You could use black alphas, green alphas, whatever you want to put on here. But I still want my title to be, I couldn't have picked a sweeter apple. So I'm gonna just place this on here. I personally don't care on this layout if my apple word is straight or if it's wonky. I'm okay with it either way. It's a kid layout. So I'm trying to make it a little wonky on purpose. So if I don't have it perfectly straight, nobody will judge that because if they're off a little bit. So apple, and then I do want an exclamation point. So I'm going to come in with some bling later and cover up my little stamping mistake. But again, it's really not a mistake because no one will see it. Okay, so now I have my title, and I'm going to do the other apples down here. So for the bare apple, the apple that doesn't have anything in the center, there's no reason for me to create a back on that. I can just add glue and attach it right down to the layout. But these aren't even the fun apples. I just wanted to show you how I got some dimension. The fun apple are the half apples that we'll start doing now. Ooh, oh, wait a second. I like the leaf up a little bit. So let's take a little piece of adhesive. Just a little one. Whoops. Well, I'll cut another piece. That's on the carpet. I'll step on it and get it nice and squished in there, I'm sure. And I'm going to put this one behind there just to have that leaf have some dimension. So that leaf won't go flat now too. So I have dimension here and a little dimension there. Now I keep one pair of scissors for cutting everything that's sticky. That'd be stickers, foam tape, whatever. One pair, and it's the Cutter Bees, I think that's what they are, or EK Success. Anyway, I only use those. And then I have other scissors that cut paper and different things. Okay, so now I want to do the 2 half apples. I've created one for you already, so you don't have to sit here and watch me fumble over a half of an apple. Can you see my, let me move that back a little, can put it up here a little more for you to see better. Okay, so this is going to be a little strange, but I used the orange because I wanted a complete circle. I didn't want to have to try to mess with the indents of that the apple has, so I used the orange and I cut out my circle. Now all of these all of these triangles you can use for the banner here, for the twine banner, or you can use Foundation 4, I think, has the little tiny banners for a banner if you want to make that. So I did cut a red circle out of orange with oranges, and then I just went with my little scissors and clipped every single wheel out. And I just want to show you how easy this is. Just get right to the edge, and I'm not even taking a whole lot of time. It's quite easy. And then the center comes out, and now you have a circle. So I did use a punch to get myself a nice perfect circle. I didn't do any tracing this time. And then you can see that my circle's a little big, and I can trim that. It's not a big deal. So I do have one already pre-cut because I have a half of a circle here. So I am going to use the pop-up part of the orange, not the apple. So I find it easier if you keep these together so that your half a circle on the outside doesn't shift and move. So my best bet would be to keep this together, or your best bet. Oh, see, it came apart, but I don't want it to go out of shape, so I'm going to put it back with that circle. Okay, well that's tricky because it's already pulled apart. All right, so I'm going to stick it back together so it stays in the half moon. And I'm going to apply it down to the outside edge of my white cardstock circle. Okay, now I have gone outside the lines. It doesn't matter, just take a pair of your favorite scissors, sticky or not, and trim off what sticks over. It's not a big deal. Okay, and before you came to join me today, I also did a double layer of foam tape, if you can see here, to create this line to hold in my shaker bits. Okay, so I'm going to take the back off of this, just one, and I'm going to set it along the edge, creating a barrier to stop my toppings from coming out and all over my page. Okay, now I'm not taking any of the sticky stuff off. I do want to tell you that I'm looking for my powder so that we don't have any static, but I guess I don't see it, so we'll skip that step for this card. But usually a little bit of cornstarch or powder in here will keep your pops or all your goodies that you're going to put inside from sticking and being staticky. So in your fruit basket kit that you would receive, you will get a bunch of goodies like strawberries and grapefruits and limes and watermelon. And I keep mine all stapled together when I separate a kit, and I don't have any apples. So I am going to use apples from the excuse me, hold on one second. Sorry, I hope you can still hear me. My husband is connected to my AirPods too, and just got on my headphones. I don't know if you heard it or if just I heard it. I'm not sure. So sorry about that. I apologize. But that's what happens when you scrap from home. So I'm going to save this because I never know if I'll use it again. So I was saying that from the special delivery kit, I picked out the apples that are in there because I'm out of apples that was with this kit. So, and if I don't want apple, I don't have to use apples. I could use hearts. I could use Pearly Brights. And I brought out Jelly Gems. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure earlier what I was going to use. And I ended up using red Pearly Brights. They just give a little bit more pop of red. So I did not use the Jelly Gems. But I did use the apples from the special delivery. So let's go ahead and carefully add a few of those. Whoops, maybe a little too much. No big deal. Pull some back out. Put them back in your baggie or your Tic Tac container. And is that enough? I shake it around, shimmy it around just a little. And I'm going to get out the red, which is definitely the color to use here. I could use white or green. And just that little bit of pop. I don't want too much because I still want my scrapbook layout to shake. Now, I did take the orange acetate. You probably can't see it. And I cut that in half as well. So what I want to carefully do is remove the sticker from the circle and from my foam tape without it sticking to me and jumping all over. And I want to add the acetate to the top of that, like that, which really went smoothly. And I didn't expect that, so yay. Okay. Oh, did you guys hear that? Flo. Oh, I have a new Frenchie too. His name is Merle, and he's absolutely fantastic. Although, right before I came on here, may have had an accident in the house and got in trouble and stressed me out, but that's okay. He's still a good boy. All right, and I'm going to take the half of the circle border and lay that down. Now, guys, on a lot of the new die cuts and a lot of the new kits, Wendy has come up with new outline dies. Those would be so perfect for things like this. So perfect, so much easier than creating our own. And I wanted to create my own apple halves, so I just think it's simple enough to do, just like that. Now, one of the problems that I had when I went to put my stuff together for creating this layout for you, I was out of the teardrop black that looked like seeds. But again, you're going to get that in your kit. So you can add seeds. You can add, well, if you've got some old rhinestones, you could add these black epoxy dots. You could use polka dots. You could use some stripes or any other black bling that matches. I decided to use the black and white polka dot. I could just do the solid black, but I really liked the polka dot. Now, these don't look nearly as good as I'm doing two different sizes, like one standing up and the other is not. Okay, so I did the teardrops facing each other and they look just like seeds and they're absolutely perfect. Okay, so the other pieces, so I'm going to add this apple here and this apple here. Now, I don't mind dimension on my layouts. You might. So I added, you can lay these flat if you want to, kind of like the apple fell apart. Let's move this over a little. We can act like the apple fell apart a little bit, flat like this, or we can add that half with this half over with foam tape behind the piece that is not raised up, so that will help with the level. But a lot of times these foam tapes with these kits or with these cutout pieces are really thick, definitely a lot thicker than an average piece of foam tape. So you may not want that, and I've decided I don't want that this time. So I'm just going to have this apple that just falls apart, kind of like so. Figure out where I want to place them, add some adhesive to the back, and stick them down. And it's okay if my leaf is touching the other area. I can have it popped up like that, or I can put it in behind. Completely up to me, because it's my layout. So yours will be just completely up to you. Okay, now I just want to add some seeds to this. Again, wishing I had some of those darn teardrops, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to use what I have on hand, and I have 2 more epoxy dots. There, I'm going to separate them a little. 2 more epoxy dots, just like so. Still looks like seeds, but not as perfect as those teardrops. Okay, now we're going to do the twine up at the top. And remember the oranges that we cut? On the back side of this red paper are watermelons and lemons. You can use that side with these triangles or the red side of the triangles. But I went ahead and I cut out banners with the triangle banner from foundation set number 4. You can save on paper and just use what you've already cut out of the orange, or you can create these of your own. So, up to you completely. Now, I'm going to turn this upside down. I know it's going to seem weird, but I don't want to be reaching over my layout, dropping glue on my layout here. If I drop glue up here, I might be able to cover it or fix it, but I don't want to drop it across my pictures and things like that. So, I also have a little tip for the twine. I like to, or for this one, I doubled up the twine. I got red and green here, and I did twist it. All I did was wet my twine a little bit earlier today and pulled it straight so it would take out these notches or these bends in the twine that wraps around the paper. Completely simple, and you can see how straight mine is. It works perfect. Okay, now in order to get a fun, swoopy, swirly type of a banner, I just kind of let the twine talk, if you will. That seems a little strange, but you want to have it, you don't want to force it to bend in a way that it shouldn't bend. So I'm going to lift and twirl. Oh, perfect. That one twirled, and let's see where this one might twirl and land. And that one wants to go there. So I will allow that to happen. And I only wanted 2, so I can fuss with this a little bit if I want, but I don't want to force a loop that really doesn't want to be there. So cut your, you can tell I use these scissors for everything sticky. They won't even cut twine. So I'm going to use wet adhesive. Let me get my top on this one first, because it is definitely going to dry out on me, this fine line. It's great stuff, but it dries up some fast. What I'm going to use is the sheer glue from Queen & Company, and I'm going to put a little dollop of adhesive where the end of the twine is, where the twine connects here. And when this dries, it'll be completely clear. And another one right here. This is a little bigger circle, so maybe I will come out on the other end, on the other side of the circle, and tack it down a little. And I want this to, which way does it go better? This way? Yeah. And then I'll just adhere it right here to the end. There we go. Now again, like I said, that all dries and it'll dry clear. So while I I totally prepped everything for you except for the triangles. I want to put foam tape behind them. I'm hoping you can still hear me. I'm going to cut my foam tape into smaller pieces. I don't have to have a complete triangle underneath each one. I can do sizes similar to this. And then I know I want 1, 2, 3 of the print showing. There's 1, 2, and 3. So I've got foam tape behind those now. And then I want 4 of the red papers showing. And all I'm going to do is use these as an anchor for my twine. Let me cut 2 more pieces of foam. While I'm doing this, I'm just going to explain something to you. I've worked for Wendy for several years now. I can't recall how long, Wendy? Maybe 4 years? But I've known her for years because I was in the traveling industry for the scrapbooking conventions. Anyway, I have worked with her for several years now, and I really enjoy it. And I do enjoy the shakers. They're quite fun. And I think if you haven't tried one, you should give it a try. They're super, super fun. So I'm going to tuck these and have it look like my twine is being held on by my banner, but it's really not because I tacked it with glue. So I want a nice red one there. And then these may not go on exactly like the picture because it's my twine folded differently. You don't want to fight that twine, I'm telling you, but I know I want to do opposite of what, so if this one's red and it's down, I want the app or the print and that to be up. Just for a little something different. So now I want red again. While I'm doing this, and you can watch, I'll just explain to you that I have obviously the just one hand. I was born this way. We talked about whether I would discuss this with you or not, but I think it's only fair because you're seeing it and you're probably wondering, and it doesn't bother me a bit, but I was born this way. So I was born without any fingers when I came out of my mama's belly. And that's pretty much how I explain it to children that are always inquisitive and ask. So I tend to say that to adults as well. So I can do everything, mostly everything that I want to do anyway. Like I can ride a bike, but I don't want to. Things like that. So yeah, that's the way it is. But we're all different, and I think we all realize that nowadays, right? All right, so I have one more triangle to add, and I'm going to put that one up here. Oop, I want it down here, not up. The last one was up. And doesn't it look like these triangles are holding on my twine? I love it. So, it's missing bling. I feel like it needs bling. I did bring out the epoxy dots, and these are pretty new. You can get them in bundles. You can get a lot of the bling in bundles, and I gotta tell you, I highly recommend it. You get every color. You never know if you're gonna like a color until you see it. So you may not like this teal, but if you get it in real life, it's gorgeous. So I recommend the bundles. And she also has these little tiny bling bundle folder binders, like the big binder that I showed you earlier. And you can use those to hold your different bling and epoxies and all of that. So I'm going to use some green and I'm going to use some red. So I want to get rid of that purple one right there. That's not going to go on this layout. So I'll open up the green. Okay, maybe. Scissors might work if yours are as hard to get open as mine. And red. And what's cool is this red one has the pink that matches, but the yellow has 2 different yellows. It's kind of fun. All right, so I'm just going to figure out where I want to place things. There's no rhyme or reason. Nothing right, nothing wrong. And I love this little doohickey, this little pick up stick thing. Works really, really kind of fun. So I'm going to do a red one. And if I'm going to put a red one, I want to make sure I put a green one. And I don't mind using a lot of, these are hard to come off. That means they're going to stick really well. I don't mind using several. To me, they're worth it. They add to the kit or to the layout that you're creating. And I think they're super fun. And they add a lot of embellishment, I think. Just a little, you know, just a little something. So I'm going to go here. And it's actually much easier right this minute to use my fingers. Now I can't get this one off my finger. Oh, there it goes. Here. Maybe a small red one. Here. And a big green one. It's okay to swap up the sizes. No big deal. How about right here? Oh, I lost it. You know, these actually are not very expensive anyway. They're like $1 something, I think, a package, like maybe $2, $2.50 tops. So that's, I've hardly used any, and I'll be able to use this many, many, many more times. All right, ladies, and gentlemen, if there are any here, I'm actually not watching the group to see if any men are here. I hope so. But I am going to do something about my mistake. Remember my little mistake that nobody will know about? I think I'm going to cover it with a green epoxy dot, so it doesn't look like I'm trying to match it. And then I'll get a red one and kind of drop that a little lower. And now I have no mistake. No one will know the difference. I don't think. And then I want to bring a little bit of attention over here to my title, so I'm going to put a couple of enamels, epoxy dots there. And that's it. That is how I put together a layout. Of course, the first time I put together this layout, it took me much longer than this. But I am going to be back. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to spill this secret or not, but we may be doing some Christmas stuff soon. So I will have another live for you. If you go to this event, I think it offers you the option to follow all of the lives or be notified of all of the lives that I may do in the future. If you click on that button and I put in that I'm going to do an event and have a live, you will get an email and get notification that I'm going to have another live. So hopefully you will do that with me. Join me next time. I really appreciate you all coming on here today. I know I was a little scattered being my first time here with you all, and I know what such a great group this is and how much you love all of Wendy's products. I also want to tell you that there is no special today. This is just me being a scrapbooker, trying to give you guys some inspiration, trying to get you to take these card elements off of a card and bring them out to a layout, a scrapbooking page. There's no reason you can't. If you're not a scrapbooker, then take these apples that I just made and put them back on a card. You could do that too. How cute would this, a smaller version of this banner be on a top of a card? So I really, really am grateful that you all joined me today. I'm going to go back through the comments as I sit here in a little bit, try to answer any of your questions you may have had for me specifically, if somebody hasn't already answered those for you. But again, thank you for being so supportive. I'll also put on the bottom here my Instagram page if you want to follow along with what I create for Queen & Company. Maybe look through my history on how I've used some of the other Queen & Company products. You can also go to the website and plug in my name, and everything that I've created will also pop up there if it's attached to any item that's in the store. So you can look that way. All right, ladies and hopefully gentlemen, I will see you all again maybe next week or the week after. All right, take care now. Have a good night.